appreciative of anybody who took the time to come. Welcome, and thank you so much for your time. I'm really excited to share my passion with you, which is content-based instruction. And I'm super excited because it blends two things that I love, which is teaching with comprehensible input as well as with authentic resources. So today we're going to go over a couple of things, which I'll share with you in a minute. My name is Arianne Dowd, in case you don't know, and I have here my Twitter handle at Dowd124 if you ever want to ask me any questions or chat about something. I would love that. And the link to my blog is discoveringci.wordpress.com. So I have lots of things linked there, and I'm pretty sure that Erin's going to share a link with you today too, with a lot of links to look through. Also, there is this awesome chat feature. So if you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to leave any of your questions in there, and I'm going to try to look at it at certain points. And if I don't get to it, I'm going to definitely leave 5 minutes at the end for us to chat about whatever questions you might have. So again, welcome. Thank you for coming. And I already told you my two passions, authentic resources blended with content-based instruction and CI. So here's just a little slide about me. I have been a Spanish teacher in New Jersey since 2000, and I teach levels currently. In the last 3 years, I've taught levels 2 to 5. I have taught 1, but it's been a while. I am a mom of 3 boys who you might hear screaming at some point because they are very active. I have twins who are 7. They're the ones with the trophy. That was their basketball. And I have a 9-year-old who also plays basketball. My husband's a basketball coach. My family loves basketball. We live basketball and soccer as well. And my husband's also a golf coach, so we do a lot of golf. I'm not very good, but I just go to the driving range, but we all love golf. And some things I love to do are to travel. I love baking cookies, so I put a picture of my Madeline cookies because I love them. And I have this special pan from Williams-Sonoma. And I also really I love making units. I don't know why, like I just enjoy it. I love, finding something I'm passionate about and breaking it down and trying to make it comprehensible for my students and get them excited about it. And I'm definitely going to share more, but I do mostly teach intermediates. And then, yeah, that was just a link to my blog again. So this is a little overview of what we're going to do today. The review, basically, what is the definition of content-based instruction and why should we use content-based instruction? And then some 3 overall puzzle pieces to plan out a unit. And then finally, I want to review 10 to 11 tips or tricks, not trips, that have really helped me build units that I feel confident that I think my students are going to understand and be excited about. So I had bought a couple of books, which I'll share you the pictures of them. And if anybody's interested, I'll definitely share the names of the books and everything that I have that I've been reading about. But I got some things from these books. So what is content-based instruction? It is an integrated approach to language teaching in which language is the vehicle for instruction. It's not the immediate goal. So long are gone the days when it was like, oh, the unit's preterite verse imperfect, which I'm sure all of us, if we're CI teachers, we know. But that's never really my goal. I try to give a ton of input maybe about a legend or some type of content that maybe it'll just incidentally be acquired, but it's never my goal, just grammar. And basically in a content-based lesson, language is acquired within the context of the content. So it's really exciting because we are blending language and content, and we're having the opportunity to be interdisciplinary and do all these amazing things and really open the windows for our students to other worlds instead of just, keep them locked inside of just comparisons and preterite imperfect or subjunctive. What is content-based instruction? Oh, those are 2 of the books that I did use. So content-based language teaching and content-based foreign language teaching. They were very helpful. I love those books. So if anyone wants to chat with me later about it, I'm more than willing to do so. So what is content-based instruction again? It is an approach to instruction in which students are taught academic content in a language they are still learning their L2. And also with content-based instruction, You can discuss pretty much anything. That's what's so exciting about it. Like everything is valid. It's all content. So any current event about a world culture or any general topics of interest for you, that is all at your fingertips when you embrace teaching with content-based instruction. So why use content-based instruction? Well, when we shift our instruction from language-based to content-based, the limits of our classroom become the limits of all time, space, and history for all intents and purposes. There are no limits. So I love Martina Beck's, and in my PowerPoint when I share it, I have linked her here in her blog because she really was one of the two people who greatly inspired me to start building content-based instruction units for my intermediate students. Martina Beck's at the Comprehensible Classroom and Carrie Daniel Toast at somewhere2share.com. Amazing bloggers and amazing content that they share with their students and have really greatly inspired me. And I just also love to teach with content-based instruction because really our goal as language teachers is teaching culture and sharing those cultural products, practices, and perspectives. And teaching this way with content-based language teaching really is allowing me to do that. So it's very exciting. So why use content-based instruction again? Well, this is a tweet that I wrote when I was at the conference of IFLT in 2018. I can't remember where it was. Was it in Ohio? I think it was in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I went to one of Carrie Daniel Toth, her Twitter handle is @SenoraCMT, to one of her workshops, and I think it was about content-based instruction. But she had said, when you build a unit around a place that you have visited, it becomes so much deeper and more than a square on a textbook page. And that just really resonated with me because, you know, maybe like some of us are still tied to a textbook. Like I'm really lucky my supervisor has let us let go of the textbook and, you know, find things that our students are passionate about and create units about them. But like, even if you are tied to a textbook, which I am actually sometimes with my Spanish 4 honors class, you can look at that little square and then go out there in the world of authentic resources and find so many things to bring into your classroom that can really potentially help you begin your journey to content-based instruction. One of those units for me this year was teaching about mate, and it went really well, and I'm super excited to share a couple of things about that today. I have 2 screens because I can't see anymore and my glasses are broken. Okay, so why should I use content-based instruction in my classes? Well, I mean, I love it. I've used it and it was really useful and exciting to my students. They really get way more excited to see an actual video of something or a tweet or a meme than just something in the book. So I also looked at those books that I was reading, and these are a couple of things I found in them to share with you so you don't just hear my take on it. But research from, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Wesk and Skehan find that students appreciate content-based instruction and its relevance to life after language instruction. So, I mean, if you leave them with just really having this strong foundation of when to use the preterite versus imperfect, as opposed to like teaching them the whole culture and traditions of mate and where it came from and why they drink it and how they drink it. And I mean, that's something they'll take with them forever, and that maybe they'll be like, wow, I want to go to Uruguay. I want to go to Argentina. I want to drink mate. You know, like it's very, very powerful. And I think it really leaves a mark on our students and gets them excited about other cultures. It's a highly effective approach in L2 programs, and content-based instruction allows students to make important connections across not only curriculum, but across or within society. As you can see in a lot of different units, like I think Carrie Toth has one about houses and how different people live from that book, Peter Menzel, I think his name is. Okay, so the next slide is what can possibly fall under the umbrella of content-based instruction. And what's really exciting, as we already know from Martina Beck, she told us before, and now I quoted her again, she said really anything is. Like, that's what's so awesome about it. Like, what do you love to teach? Whatever you love to teach can be your content-based instruction. So, and sometimes just when I find something I'm curious about on my journey, I make a whole unit because I'm like, wow, I didn't know about that. That's so interesting. And then, you know, even my heritage language students are like, wow, I didn't know that. And they get really excited about it. So Martina Beck says, because our brains are designed to acquire language in context, the content of our classes can be anything that we decide for it to be. And language acquisition is incidental. It's just a mere consequence of comprehensible content that's being taught. So it's super, super exciting. Oh, and I love this podcast, We Teach Languages. And so this man, I'm not sure how to pronounce, Daniel Woolsey, I thought he had a fantastic episode where he said choosing critical cultural content over grammar is so powerful. So it's just another example of why I think, and maybe we all think, that using content-based language teaching is a really powerful tool to excite our students and to ignite their passions and ignite their curiosity. So compelling content as a main focus is going to go way further than grammar instruction. Of course, we're going to blend the two though. So how can I design a content-based instruction unit? And that was what I was saying before about the 3 puzzle pieces. So that's how I break it down to 3. One of them is to pick your passion. I have lots of passions, but I'm sure all of you out there have something that you love to teach or something you really want to teach, but you haven't done it yet. So really, that's what you kind of need to do, is just find your passion. And if you're like, I'm not really sure, I put that little link of Gran for Lang, which I'm going to share the PowerPoint so you'll be able to have it. But if you just go to Pinterest and look for her, she has so many languages and so many resources broken down in different ways to help you find authentic resources to make your comprehensible content-based language unit. I really recommend you check it out. And I actually wanted also really to talk about one way that I really also began my journey was using units from Martina Beck's, using units from Carrie Daniels Toth, and also using the books from Fluency Matters. So for example, like I always wanted to teach about Frida, and I did teach about Frida. It was in my textbook. But once I got that reader and that teacher guide of the book Frida, the comprehension-based reader written by Christy Placido, that really, really, really ignited, a passion in me to be like, wow, I want to teach more units like this. It was in depth. We went through paintings, we went through her biography, and it was just an amazing way to see how you can really, really dig deep with content-based instruction. And then another unit that I learned a lot about before I taught, and I used La Hija del Sastre, the reader by Carrie Daniels Toth, about the Spanish Civil War. That was another awesome content-based instruction unit that really helped me begin to make film study and to go deeper in depth into teaching about the Spanish Civil War. And currently I'm hoping to blog this weekend about the new book, Bananas, which is all about the United Fruit Company and the pesticides they use and human rights violations and so many things, because I haven't really talked too much about Honduras or Guatemala in that sense, or Costa Rica. So that will be a new unit that I'm going to be building soon that I'm very excited about. Okay, let's see. So how can I design a content-based instruction unit? Oh, that's where we are. Okay, so that was my first puzzle piece. Now the second puzzle piece is vocabulary. So now you really need to start thinking about what vocabulary is really core, what's important, what do I need my students to walk away with? And that's another idea from Carrie Daniels Toth on her blog, Somewhere to Share. She talks about the Chuck It bucket, and it really helps you pull out those core structures that you're going to need for your students to be able to talk about the content you're teaching them. We also really need to think about language functions. So for example, what do you want your students to do at the end? Do you want them to compare and contrast? Do you want them to make recommendations? So we really need to look at our levels of proficiency, see what functions are necessary there, and try to level up maybe and push a little harder. I also am going to share, hopefully, this PowerPoint, and I linked in here another way to use chunks of language through passwords. I don't know if you use passwords. I learned about them from Bryce Hedstrom at IFLT, and they're another great way to get in language functions or language chunks that are core and central to whatever topic you are teaching about in your content-based instruction unit. And then the third piece is thoughtfulness. So can I design a content-based instruction unit? Yes, I think you can if you put these three pieces together. You find your passion, you really think about the core vocabulary, and you use thoughtfulness to connect the two, connect the content and connect the language and blend the authenticity of the language with the content. And right there together, you will most certainly create a perfect unit. And obviously not the first time. I mean, it takes time, and each year you add a little more, you might take a little more away. I mean, I'm definitely not perfect at it, but you find something that works with your students and you feel really good about. And when you assess them at the end and see what they can do, I think that's the most exciting part of it all. So I think now we are ready to start getting into the tips and tricks to use while you begin creating your units about whatever your passion is with a content-based instruction unit. So number one, no matter what I do, I always backwards plan. It's like, I don't know, I can't teach without backwards planning. I always have to know what my assessment is at the end so that I feel confident that my activities are building to that assessment. And before I even can build my assessment though, I really need to think, okay, what is the content I want to teach? So here's an example. I went to the Dominican Republic, I think 2 summers ago, and I learned about this doll called La Muñeca Sin Rostro, La Muñeca Sin Identidad, or dolls without a face, or they are also called dolls without an identity. And I think it's really cool because it explains Dominican identity, how they have different roots, indigenous, African, and European roots. And that's why it doesn't have a precise face. I have a lot of Dominican students, so I thought they might get excited about it. And they most certainly did. They really liked it a lot. So once I found that, I had the actual doll, which is a piece of artwork, because really authentic resources can be so many things. They can be music, they can be art, they can be film or video or text, a piece of literature or a commercial, really, anything. So once I had that, then I started thinking and researching because I really like in my unit to hit everything. Like I don't want to just focus my unit only on a song or only on a film because maybe one kid doesn't like that song or maybe one kid doesn't like that film. So I really try to blend a lot of different things together so they see how they all fit into the puzzle and have a stronger appreciation for the culture. So I was digging deep to find more cultural references to this synthesis, how do you say that in English, of the three different cultures. And then I found Juan Luis Guerra's song, El Costo de la Vida, where he makes a particular mention of the different people who make up the Dominican Republic. And so it all started coming together. And one of the things that I always do when I make my units is that I always try to have Apple tasks because our students take the seal of biliteracy, and one of them is the simulated conversation, and that's one that they often say is very difficult. So I've been really pushing to get that into all my units in practice with them. And, you know, obviously the email is on the AP and the Apple as well. And the AP has cultural comparisons. And even though the Apple does not have cultural comparisons, I do feel like it has a strong focus on your own culture. So I feel like cultural comparisons really help with that too, because students start analyzing their own culture and then are able to compare and contrast to the target language culture. So what did I put here? Let me see. Okay, so that was the example of the simulated conversation. And right now, even with remote learning, you can do these things. I just did a simulated conversation. We finished the book Selena, and I had asked them questions. I made a Loom, a screencast. I really like Loom. For me, it's really easy to use. And then they went on Flipgrid and put their answers for me. So it was a fun little way, even at home. I mean, maybe they're cheating, but as long as they're hearing the language and practicing the task and understanding what will be expected for them, I don't mind. And then the cultural comparison piece was for them to, I think I have it here. Let me see. Did I put it in here? Yeah. So it said, muchas culturas. Uh-oh, I went the wrong way. Here we go. Muchas culturas tienen productos o actividades that are an expression of cultural identity, products and activities. So in the Dominican Republic, la muñeca sin rostro es un icono de la cultura dominicana, a Dominican Republic icon. So is there a product that really represents races and pride in your culture, like an artwork, anything? And what is the product and how is it similar or different? So it starts getting them thinking. And I also added this little piece in blue because I have I originally started with a song by Fonseca, the Colombian singer. It's called Entre mi vida y la tuya. And as I was doing that, I found out about this La India Catalina, and she reminded me of La Malinche, and she reminded me of a cultural comparison with Pocahontas. So there's just so many ways you can, go build backwards, think of your cultural comparisons, and whatever tasks or whatever assessment you want to build in, just think of that and start building tasks and finding resources to help you do that. Okay, so now we're on to tip 2, which is memes. I mean, kids really like memes, and sometimes they're like, Senora, your memes are not our memes, because of course we're teachers and we want to be appropriate. But you can use memes in so many different ways. They can be a springboard for discussion. You can use them in gallery walks and just having them look at the perspectives, for example, about bullfighting, and then give them a little sheet where they put the hashtag, like make them have a hashtag. Like if you read this tweet, what would you put as the hashtag? Or if you read this, picture in a tweet, what would you write back? So it could be interpersonal communication. It can just be a short little paraphrase and a hashtag. And you can do this virtually. You can give them a PowerPoint with them and then have them just fill in a little hashtag on the bottom. And you can do it for any topic. There's tons for the environment or for water scarcity. So there's lots of different ways you can use it. Another way you can use memes is just even as a class starter about the topic or the content you're teaching, and then have students, I like to do this a lot, have them write 15 questions for me, like in groups, because that really builds the intermediate skill of asking questions and be able to have a conversation. So that's something else I like to do. And I definitely have linked in the handout some ideas of memes for you to use. So check that out. And then I also love to use infographics. It's another fantastic authentic resource. However, sometimes I can't find an authentic resource that I love. And I learned this trick from Carrie Daniels-Toth, where she makes her own infographics sometimes. And especially for like intermediate lows, it's a lot more manageable for them. They feel more successful. So one of my units was on I'm sorry, I didn't advance. One of my units is on El Ajolote, which is so cool. Axolotls, they're really unique little creatures, and they live in Xochimilco in Mexico, and they're in danger. So this unit hits so many topics. It hits a lot of AP themes like global challenges, environmental issues, personal and public identities, because there's a legend about it. So it's national and ethnic identities. It comes from the Aztecs. And then it's also about science and technology because it's about healthcare and medicine. So I like this unit, and I like to use infographics because it kind of shows you how content-based teaching with CI really is going to blend created materials with authentic materials, similar to using comprehension-based readers. Really, at the end, when they finish those comprehension-based readers written by teacher authors, they're ultimately able to really interpret and very well authentic resources. So that was one I created for my students. Another one is I have a really big unit on the Inca. So I had a video, which was my inspiration, and I went through and took out the 20 important facts, and then I made an infographic about it so that before they interact with that authentic resource, they're seeing these words, they're understanding them, they're seeing images, and they feel much more successful when they actually interact with that video or authentic resource. And then the one about Celia Cruz is an authentic resource, and it seems quite manageable. It doesn't have too much text, so that's something I would definitely consider using with my students. So the next thing is more infographics still. We're still on tip 3. And this just goes to show you like an authentic infographic that I used with my mate unit, as opposed to one that I created about that unit with La India Catalina from the song Entre mi vida y la tuya. So I wanted them to be familiar with where the video takes place. And so I made that little infographic about the town of Galarazamba so they would understand it better. And again, I took a lot of the information from a video that they were going to watch after so that they felt really successful and the video was more comprehensible to them. So teacher created infographics. Sometimes they take time, but I really do think they're worth it. And if you're going to use it every year, it's most certainly worth it. And then I recently finished with my Spanish 4s. They read Selena. And I also, right now, I'm doing a little tiny mini unit because I can't afford the book for all my classes with the e-course, but I do recommend the e-courses. They're great. They are doing just a small little unit on Selena. So this infographic I made, and it's another one I took from a video. So it was a video about 18 facts about Selena. So I took them and broke them down, and I had them read the infographic, and I made a Quizlet about it. And then afterwards, they were very successful and able to actually watch the Edpuzzle and understand it. And then on the right is an authentic infographic that you could definitely use after the film study or after the comprehension-based reader study. So there's lots of things you can do and lots of ways you can teach a topic. And both of my classes are doing really well. The juniors are the ones who read with the book and the seniors didn't, but they both did an amazing job with the infographic and with the Edpuzzle video after. And I have that all linked as well if you want to use it. And number 4 is a really important tip that I use a lot, and it's so easy and simple. Picture talk, and you can even do this now, like if you're Zooming or if you're not Zooming. I really like to make the screencast because some kids just can't get to the Zoom, and so if you have the screencast, everybody has access to it. So I took one of my Selena units and I tried to make a hyperdoc about it. And basically, when I usually teach this when I was in school, because I started that in school with my juniors, I took this from a Google Doodle, this picture, and I show it to them, and a lot of them don't know who Selena is. So again, I have them ask questions like, well, what questions do you have about Selena? So get in groups and start to ask me questions. And then I also, it depends on how confident I am with the content I'm teaching. So a lot of times I make a script for myself in order to be able to teach about it. So for example, this picture by Selena, I have little questions down there and statements I say. And actually, I found that by the end of this picture talk, the students knew a lot about Selena. And it was almost like the first day that I taught it. I wanted to see if I could show this to you. Let me see here. Yeah, I have a loom. So basically what I did was, and I'm going to share the link with you, but you can do picture talk at home on a little screencast. So I thought that was fun, and my students have recently done this, and then they did a Quizlet afterwards, and I used all the images from the Google Doodle about Selena. So I'm going to show you a little clip. Hola chicos, hoy vamos a aprender sobre una de mis personas favoritas. Es ella. Se llama Selena. ¿Conoces a Selena? ¿O por qué es famosa? ¿O de dónde es? Selena era cantante de Texas, y cuando ella era niña le encantaba cantar y le encantaba comer la pizza. Vamos a ver, ¿dónde está la pizza? Aquí. So, cuando ella era joven, le encantaba cantar y comer pizza. So you can do that for any picture you want, anything you want to say. It's really easy. You definitely just make your little video about whatever you want to teach. And I really recommend it. And it's nice, especially now that we are remote, because kids can hear your voice. They miss it, actually. I had kids email me and be like, can you please make some screencasts, because we miss hearing you and we want to see your face. And so I thought that was really nice. So it's a fun little way to still use picture talk. And picture talk can be used in so many ways, and it's an authentic resource. I mean, you can use it for paintings. I like to take the painting apart, especially the murals by Diego Rivera, and then show little pieces of them and be able to teach all about what's happening, because they're so big that I like to break them down. I really love this painting, La Gran Tenochtitlan, because I do the short story La Noche Boca Arriba, which is about the Aztecs and sacrifices. And this painting really highlights that. Like, you can see the blood on the temples, and this arm, and there's so many different things in here that you can show the students and teach them all about the Aztecs. So I do have a unit that I'm still working on. I have a lot of pieces to it. There's a food piece to it where we learn about pozole, which also connects back to sacrifice, because they used to eat like human sacrifice in pozole, but now it's like pork. So there's that. And then you can even just do a simple picture talk depending on your level and label the different items in it and talk about them. How are there a lot? Are there a little? Why do you think they have these rugs? What do they do with them? So that was another example of a picture talk. And I do have a link to a whole PowerPoint that you could go through to use with it. And then I also used picture talk for this. I gotta show you, this is so cool. I love my Lucha Libre unit, and it's because it connects, again, music, art, and video, and a fun little story. And this painting is so cool. I hope it comes up. Let's see. It's like a 360 painting, so the kids really enjoy looking at it. And this is another thing, I picture talk and I go through, and I like to screenshot it and go through each piece. Because it organizes it for me. And if it's new content, I want to feel really comfortable and strong and confident. So I like to do it that way. But if you are really confident, you don't need to do that. You can just zoom in. But I mean, it really spans the history of Lucha Libre. It's so cool. And then you can teach them about like El Santo and all El Extraterrestre, El Cavernario, El Blue Demon, and all the different people and fighters. And what is his name? Luteros, I forget his name now. I haven't taught it in a couple of months now. And then at the end, you also can see the progression of the masks from the early Aztecs to like now, from the Olmecs all the way through. And it's just so amazing. The kids really appreciate this painting. And it's part of a really, really big unit. And then there's also this fun song. Have you heard it? I think it's La Cumbia de Lucha Libre. I'll just play you like 10 seconds. The kids really like it. And in the song,
respetable público, lucharán dos de tres caídas sin límite de tiempo. En esta esquina, el Santo y Cavernario. Y en esta otra, Blue Demon y el La arena estaba de bote en bote, la gente
so
loca.
I'll stop that. But in the song, they mention all the different luchadores or wrestlers. So they feel like, wow, we know who these wrestlers are. Like first I do little bios about the wrestlers, and then we listen to the song, and then we do a movie talk about an authentic video from the man who made the Book of Life. And then after that, we look at the painting and we listen to videos with Jorge Gutierrez, who made this short film. And it's really cool, and everything connects, and the kids are really excited about it, and they have a really deep appreciation of Lucha Libre. Sorry, I can't think and talk at the same time. Okay. So that's a little piece. Oh, and look, I put the little meme here because how fun is that? And now, like at the end of the unit, they can understand this meme. No soy el santo, tengo mi cara con bloqueador solar. So it's like funny. And it's, I don't know, it's just another little fun thing to do, and it includes the memes. And another example of a picture talk is this painting of Sueño de una tarde dominical by Diego Rivera. And I really like to teach this painting because I do a unit on the Mexican Revolution, which it covers really nicely. It has Benito Juarez in there, and it has Porfirio Diaz, and it also has La Catrina. So if you want to teach about La Catrina in depth, this painting is awesome to do it. So I broke it down, and I have a little PowerPoint for you as well if you ever wanted to teach that. And then I also have a really big Inca unit. And so in that unit, this is an awesome mural that spans the history of the Inca and shows like their Inti Raymi tradition with the black and white on the left, and Pachacuti is the leader on the left, who's really famous for making the cities really strong. And there's so much history in these paintings that you can really pull tons of content out of, and it's just absolutely incredible and amazing. And something that you can even do now at home, which I have done recently, is take the pictures, take pieces of the painting, and I have the link here for you if you want to do it. And I usually put them in the hallway, and I have them make predictions about what it's about. But they can just write it on their slides and have them make predictions. Like, what do you think this is going to be about? To start building curiosity and inquiry in your students. Okay, so now we're on to tip 5. And this is movie talk. And I'm sure all of you already use movie talk, but why not use it in your big content-based instruction unit? Or just stories, you know? Like this story of Celia Cruz. Like if you find those Draw My Life videos, those are awesome. They tell stories. I just used one for Pablo Neruda. Really cool stuff. The one about Celia Cruz. There's one about Leo Messi. I mean, that's a simple one that you could just have text and movie talk, or you can use commercials. This is a legend of mate. I have 2 different legends that I use, and take it. And I don't like to just movie talk it though. First, I like to give them the list of vocab, and then I like to show them the slides and go through it with them. And then I like to show them the video and stop and ask them questions so that they really understand it, because I really want them to know the content and feel comfortable and have multiple interactions or repeated exposure to the topic that they are learning about. So it can really be, your movie talk could be authentic or not authentic, definitely. This is for my Inca unit, which I love my Inca unit, and we learn about Chaskis. And this is a really fun little video, because we learn about gold and how gold is so important to them because they think it represents the sun god. And this has so many products in it, so you can just mention them. I'm going to show you a short little clip.
Kamachiskai taita. Kay pipisaki? Chunka iskai iskinayo.
Pari?
Hatun kesu andinoyuk. Anta ajos nikuk.
كيف التقطة؟
Ay. JP Oroki. 15 pachajniyo.
Domingo de Delivery. Un momento de oro.
Monakuskai. Pacha. Alguien yuyay mi Josh Mikanki. Che alcochata munakunkichu. Che alcocha alguien chukashan.
La llegada de la mascota. Un momento.
That was a fun one. And then this one's really cool because we learned about the Chaskis, which I'm going to come back to later. Whoopsies. Now how do I get this to open up here? Let me see. Can I open that there? Here we go. This is a student-made video, I think, but it really shows them everything I teach them about Chaskis, and then I just slowly talk about it with them to review it again. Because if you're not sure who Chaskis are, they are the people from the Inca Empire who were similar to the Pony Express, except they didn't have ponies. They just would run through the empire with messages, and sometimes they had to memorize them, and sometimes they had to have quipu. So we talk about the quipu and how it goes in the bag, and they wore a feather that identified them with a specific color called el penacho. And we go over the geography of the Inca Empire and how it's so different. And like the hanging bridges are in here, and the terrains they would run through, how far they ran. So all the things that I teach them, we can talk about in this video, and it just blends really, really, really well. I've used it for 2 years now, and it has gone really well. And they even ask me questions, and sometimes they notice things I don't even notice. So it's pretty awesome. I really like that video a lot. Okay, let me go. Am I in the present mode? I think I am. Okay, so next. Oh, this is also, I just wanted to show you how you can also movie talk and use stories with the video. So there's this video called El Hijo del Jaguar that I use with my Lucha Libre unit. And I just wanted to show you, like, you can use TPR, another CI strategy, when you're teaching vocabulary. You can come up with gestures together and have a short little class story to introduce them to the vocabulary before you even get into the video that you're going to use with them. So again, they're getting tons of repeated exposure to this core vocabulary, or whatever language functions that you need for your unit. Definitely using stories and any types of movie talk are always helpful. A lot of times I blend a story and then I do the movie talk, and then compare and contrast the story and the movie talk if that's my language function. These are some other fun little things you can movie talk that I have linked. So this one's mate, and it's not even like a fun video. It just shows them mate, and I have like the do's and don'ts of mate in the unit. So we talk about if Messi does the do's and don'ts with his son, and does his son follow the rules. So I'll just show you a little piece of that.
Yeah.
Para. Eyeball.
And then this is a super fun little commercial about Ella Keko because I teach the book Ella Keko.
Tapsin.
That's Ella Keko.
Tapsin caliente antigripal te cuida y alivia durante el día y te entrega un descanso reparador en la noche. Pruébalo en sus distintos sabores. Limón, miel.
So it's just fun because they're seeing this cultural product and practice in the commercial, and they see the value and the importance of it. And you can also get a ton of vocabulary repetition and structures in with that as well. Okay, so another thing I absolutely love to do is a gallery walk, and I have two different kinds here, and I actually came up with a new one recently that's really fun that I've been meaning to blog about, but I have been so busy this year with teaching 2 new classes and having 4 preps, but I'm going to get around to it. So I learned this from Carrie Toth. She does this a lot. She has little tweets, and then you put them up in the hallway, and the kids love it. They're like, are we going to go in the hallway today? They love going in the hallway and getting up and moving around. And then normally I'll give them like a little sheet where they respond. I think something like this. But for this time, I did it differently, and I did a tweet. I'd combined scavenger and tweet, a tweet scavenger hunt. So I put little pieces of message and then about the tweets, and they had to go through the tweets with like a partner or individually and try and figure out which number tweet or what letter tweet would match the numbers they had there. So that was a little twist to it. This is one that I did this year with the Spanish lottery unit. So I found a lot of tweets about the new commercials because there were 4 as opposed to 1. And so like this tweet you can see here, let me see if I can make it bigger for myself. It says, this year the lottery is multiplied by 4. Which one are you gonna, stay with? And so I had like a lot of questions that would ask them like from tweets. So it's an authentic resource, but it's also interpersonal communication. Like, what was your favorite? Did you like the new format of the lottery? So things like that, so that they're really interacting with an authentic resource about something that they know a ton about and they feel confident doing it. And it's through a fun, modern way of communication. And then this is a great one that I really like to do too, because you can't really do it without like you controlling it, because you never know what people are going to write on YouTube. But if you go through the comments and take some, so if you do a movie talk, like let's say you did that top scene movie talk, and then you want your kids to write a comment to the person who made comments about the video, you can pull out some that you think would be fun that would match your content-based unit, and then have them respond back. Like, what would you say back to this comment? So this was one I used for La Muñeca Sin Rostro, Dolls Without a Face, from the Dominican Republic. So that was tip 6. All right, we're almost at 7, and it is now 5:47. Okay, we're doing good on time. So map talk, I learned this from Carrie Daniels too, as well as from Abra Koch, who is a lovely woman that lives in Ohio, and she is brilliant and has so many great ideas, and she's Nat Geo certified as well as Carrie. So the coolest thing about map talk, it's just the kids love it. Like I did one for Mate. I was like, how can I make this come more alive for them? Because remember, I got it from a textbook. And so then I was like, let me try a map talk. So I gave all the kids a map, and then I read them a little piece of text about mate, because I really want them to see, where do people drink mate? I mean, some kids really just don't know geography at all. So for them to be able to see it on the map and understand where people drink it, and make connections to Messi in Argentina, and seeing it really just helped them. And you can also do it remotely, which is so cool. Let me see if I can do this here now. Okay, yeah, I think this is the one I want to show you. Yes, it is. So you can do it at home, even if you don't do it at school. I did it at school, but I'm gonna try my Mariposa Monarca, my Monarch Butterfly one soon. So I made this little thing for you guys to use, and I just took a map off of like Google Images and put it in here. And then I'm pretty sure that this is, oh yeah, this is another activity you can use too. But this is a link to me talking on Loom again. I'm sorry, I'm not a native speaker, so sometimes I get embarrassed of my Spanish, but I try really hard. I love Spanish and the culture. So this was just me, and it was really short and simple. It was a quick little thing. So it can be complicated or not complicated. You can make it however you want to make it. Oh, my stomach's growling. Hola, chicos. Hoy vamos a hacer un map talk. Y es sobre dónde las personas del mundo beben el mate. El mate es de Sudamérica y por eso tenemos el mapa de Sudamérica aquí en la pantalla. Para hacer la actividad, pueden usar Google Draw o pueden imprimir o print el papel y usar marcadores o crayones para poner los colores diferentes. Ok, vamos a empezar. El mate se toma en Paraguay, Argentina, Uruguay y en algunas partes de Brasil. Colorea estos países color verde. Verde es el color de la planta del mate. So that's just a little piece of it. There's more, and they have to do different colors. The cool thing is that kids can even do it in Google Drawing, and one of the videos I have linked explains to them like how you can do it in Google Drawing. So, sorry, I have this other thing at the top of my screen. And I really loved it for my Mariposa Monarca unit, and this is an example of how they colored it. And it like showed the long distance that the butterflies fly from northern United States and southern Canada down to the middle of Mexico, and they drew the forest for the Oyamel forest that they go to, and it was just a really cool way for them to learn the content and see it on a map and make it visual and help them, and they really enjoyed it, and it's one of my absolute favorite things, and I always try to include it now because it's just, I don't know, the kids really respond so well to it. And when they respond well, you just want to keep doing it. Okay, number 8 is learning stations. I really like learning stations because they give choice. You have multiple stations and they can pick like 5 out of however many. They do take a long time to set up, but once you have them forever. I also love the fact that there's like a chat station with the teacher or a chat station with friends where they're having interpersonal communication with a small group, which is great for shy students. And there's so many different things you can do. You can do digital museums, Google Culture Museums. You can have like music in them. Like for this was the Mexican Revolution, so we did Los Corridos, which narrate historical events. They learned about Las Adelitas, which I didn't get to teach them about, but the women who fought during the Mexican Revolution, and muralists and their messages. So it was a great way to get in some other content that maybe I didn't actually get to teach them, but they can get it through learning stations. And it's fun. It's a new, fresh way for them to learn, not as a class, but on their own individual. And I have found that kids really enjoy learning stations and they get excited about it because they're new topics that blend or combine really well with whatever they're currently learning. Okay, and obviously music. I mean, kids love music, and I just love when the music really fits into my topic. So I have a really big bullfighting unit that I do with my level 4s and when I teach 3 honors. And I found this song by Scape called Vergüenza, and it's all about like the negative of bullfighting. So it's difficult for them to understand, but I tried to comprehensify it by giving them a word store. I gave them a ton of chunks from the song, either individual words or little phrases, and they had to say, does it apply to a toro, a torero, or a corrida de toros? And then after that, there was a couple of more steps, but we listened to the song, they put them in order. And one of the ultimate things we did was that they actually made a found poem or a blackout poem where they had to like make their own poem about how they feel about bullfighting according to the words in the song. Because, and you know, we obviously went over that this song was anti-bullfighting. And it was a really fun, cool activity, and it's a different way to look at music maybe than just a regular close. I love this song by Pedro Guerra, which is called Monarca, because our Mariposa Monarca, or Monarch Butterfly unit, also ties in really beautifully to immigration. And so there's a painting by Hector Duarte that we go over because his painting is really about Monarch Butterfly as well as immigration and the blending of the two of them and how they're similar and different. And then we also use this song because it has the same idea, and we used a close, and then we did a Venn diagram, and it was just really beautiful way to like close out the unit, and it was very meaningful to them, and they really just understood the song so well. So it was awesome, and then they were able to make great cultural comparisons from it. This is a really fun song that I found from Kara Jacobs, and it's all about, like, because I do a whole gastronomy of Mexican food unit that goes back to the Aztecs and Mesoamericans to modern day. So this is fun to highlight modern day. Oh no, one more minute. I better hurry. I'll just show you.
MC Luca. MC Luca. Lupita's taco shop. Taco shop. Taco.
And it has a ton of different foods in it, and I have a PowerPoint linked if you want to look at it with a Quizlet. And I tried to add like a little plate activity that's digital for kids to do at home, where they can make their own plate of food they want to try or don't want to try. And then number 10 is games. Woohoo! Okay, so I made this game that I absolutely love, and I'm gonna try to make more. Well, before I tell you about the one I made, Carrie Daniels' Toast Plastic Ocean unit is absolutely phenomenal. Definitely check it out. She has a game called Marmoria where she made memory, but it's all about sea creatures, and we played it on the floor as a class, and the kids loved it. So one of my games is a form of running dictation that I was able to connect to the Chaskis. So basically they had to like run the Chaskis from one post to the next post. So it really combined all the content of my Inca unit with a running dictation, where they had to ultimately send the message all the way to the emperor, and then the emperor had to come back and like write the actual message, and whoever's was the closest was the winner. And it was super fun, and I love it. And I have a lot of other games you could use, but that was the one that really stood out to me right now of all of my content-based instruction units. And this is so cute. Let me just show you 10 seconds. I love it because it's the hook.
Hey, yo, Chad, this today is real good, man. We got the stacks of yellow. We got the shit. What else we got? Man, we got going small. It's the only thing that helps is I'm sweating in the streets. I can't take this heat.
This is a fun I'll definitely point you can check it out. It's super fun, and I'm excited to use it. And let me go back to view, present. Okay, let's see. And then just some hooks, and the Lucha Libre, another hook is a name generator. And they asked me to talk about what's working in remote learning for me. And I just wanted to say that student Quizlet accounts are fantastic. I paid the upgrade because I can really see if they're doing their work and comprehension, and I know they're not copying a Google Doc. I love Edpuzzle, I do them a lot. I love Flipgrid for them to share their thoughts and ideas with me in the class, and for art galleries. I love when they make things and show them to me on Flipgrid, like memes. The e-courses from Fluency Matters have been such a lifesaver. I love them. Kahoot Challenge is great. It's a way for them to play Kahoot remotely. GimKit Remote has been awesome. I've been using that a lot too. And gallery walks and the Google have been great, and predictions as well. So that's that. Now let me get to your questions. Let me hit this question thing and see if it works here. I'm not tech savvy sometimes. All right, how do I get the questions to open? Please open. All right, they opened before the last time, but now they're not opening. Should I unshare my screen to see if it works? Stop share. This is here. Unless, Erin, do you want to ask me any of the questions if you can see them? For some reason, it's not opening for me. I'm not sure why. I'm going to hit stop share and see what happens. Chat. All right, I found the questions. Woohoo. Okay, let's see. My students laugh at my English accent. Oh, that's not nice. Let's see. Me ha encantado lo que has presentado y tu castellano. Oh, thank you so much. You're so nice. I loved how creative you can be with your lessons. Thank you, Dora. Habla de los tacos de canasta. I'm not sure, but definitely send me a tweet because I'm not sure. My students laugh at my English. I'm trying to get this to move up, but it's not moving up. Let me see here. 3 new messages. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. Wow, you like made my day. I am like having the best Thursday ever. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for your positivity. I really appreciate it. I don't know why I cannot get my screen to move up. Let me see. They're definitely gonna share the presentation, so you'll definitely see it. I know Erin is gonna share them afterwards. Thank you so much, Emma and Karen. And I'm really trying so hard to go up and see your other questions. But if I didn't get to them, please, please, please write them now or tweet me and I will definitely answer them. Thank you. I don't know how to get those questions. I'm trying really hard to move up to get to them. Click the QA. I did that, but there's like a little thing on the side that I can't move up. Why? Oh, wait, oh, it was there and then it went away. Oh, darn it. Come on, come back. A certificate, I'm not sure. You definitely have to ask Erin for that. 10 minutes, oh, don't worry because this is gonna be video, no problem. Thank you, Maria. I'll practice, Giovanni, no te preocupes. Thank you. You guys are just so awesome. Thank you. You guys are just really, I never get so much great feedback. Thanks. Oh, wait, let me see. I can go back. Yes, I finally got it. Okay, let's see. Questions. Don't stay with me here. Oklahoma, buongiorno. Hi, everybody. Is there any questions I missed? The slideshow is available afterwards. Any questions? I have problems accessing the webinar. Don't worry because there's going to be a video. And she said, if you want a participation certificate, fill out the form. So there's a form in the chat. So definitely check that out. I'm going to share all the links. Don't worry about it. There's a handout link in the chat. So check that out. Ooh, you were in Uruguay, Bonita. Awesome. And I do teach grammar, but in chunks. So whatever chunks I really want them to know, I'm going to focus on that chunk during that content-based instruction unit. So if it's subjunctive, I'm going to focus on that, but I don't teach every single subjunctive. I'll just teach like the really strong ones, like important ones for the topic that we're on. What else? Oh, thank you, Mayela. You have the same passions as me. Did I post La Hija de Sastre? I have blog posts about La Hija de Sastre. I can, if you send me an email, I will gladly send them to you. Anybody else? Did I miss anything? My apologies, no problem. Did you see Mexico's putting the axolote on revamped currency? Ooh, no, I didn't know. Okay. So anybody else have any questions? Erin, are you gonna come back on here or no? Let me see, did you send me a message? Okay, well, I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much. You have been the most fantabulous audience, and I'm really appreciative for you coming. Have a great day and have a great week. And good luck remote teaching. We can do this, guys. I have the utmost faith in you, and reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you again. Take care.